All right, let's get into, we're still discussing Adamawa State, and joining us now is the Adamawa State Commissioner for Information, Ahmad Sajoh. Joining us in the studio right now. Good morning, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, we've been talking about Adamawa State and Numan all the while. You are there and you're here now. Can you give us a situation report generally? How bad is the situation, security situation in Adamawa State now?
And you know, my problem is that I am a very, very positive person. My cup is always half full, never half empty. And so I don't want to say how bad.
Okay.
But I want to say, you know, that while the situation is stabilizing, I want us to look at the positive side, the flip side, you know. Something happened, yes, we lost lives. I even lost a staff of the state television station, and it hurts me deeply as a person. But one good thing that came out of all of this bad situation is that for the first time we've noticed government at all levels acting very promptly and acting very seriously and taking very serious steps to ensure that such occurrences are contained. I think we must begin to appreciate that. The visit of the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, is a very good omen for the system. I wish wherever we have a problem, whether it is something like of this nature or anything that requires the attention of the highest level of government, this kind of display of concern will continue to subsist. We also know that when the crisis started on the 20th of November, my governor was abroad. Immediately he cut short his visit and returned back to Yola on that same day. How he did it, I'm even marveled, because to change his ticket and change his flight schedule and get a flight and fly into Nigeria and then return to Adamawa that same day, without, of course, a chartered flight, because, you know, our government policy is that the governor does not charter a flight.
Okay, that's interesting to know. But you just said you'd like to see the.
So we are going.
Okay.
We're going.
Okay.
The IGP came. The GOC, third div came. The four core commanders, the brigade commander, the Air Force commander, the commissioner of police, and the director of SSS, almost literally relocated to Numan, and the situation was to a large extent contained. We lost a lot of lives, we lost a lot of property, yes, but it could have been worse if actions were not taken. And yesterday, the governor addressed the state in a broadcast and laid out plans to ensure that we have durable and sustainable solutions to this crisis. So we believe that it's unfortunate, it's bad, but steps are being taken. But presently, what the situation is in Numan and the environs is that there's a lot of misery, there's a lot of despondency. A lot of people have lost their property. Some people have relocated and become IDPs even within the state. In the state capital, if you think you are safe, you are not safe, because when your people run away from place of crisis, they come and load themselves up in your houses. It's a hell for everybody.
Let me jump in here.
So we have a lot of
this situation.
The question that people would want to ask is, was this situation avoidable in the first place? With all the interventions that you've gotten so far since the Numan incidents with the Vice President visiting and all the other, the GOC and the rest of them, you know, coming to the scene, could this have been avoided in terms of more proactive measures taken on the part of the state government to prevent herdsmen and even maybe Boko Haram? Of course, Adamawa State has been on the radar of the terrorists for a while now.
Let me be very plain in this matter. Every major disaster is avoidable. But again, when it has to do with people's minds, it's very difficult to predict. We can run a narrative of what really happened. Somebody or some people were found, I think 1 or 2 persons were found dead in the bush, and then one group, probably instead of reporting the matter to the security agents, went on a retaliatory attack. It claimed that the attack was caused by one group, and then they went there, and several people, about 47, most of them under 10, were supposed to have been killed. And so tempers rose, people were aggrieved, and then every security measure, every governmental measure was taken to ensure that another retaliation does not happen. Then people now began to confuse the situation with statements that were supposed to have been avoided. You know, some people started, confusing and deceiving even the security agents, telling them that they have a mass in this end, you run there, there will be rumor for that side, and while you go there, there will be another rumor on one side, you go that side, and then the whole thing became muddled up. Eventually, of course, despite all efforts, the retaliation took place. But again, let's look at it very broadly. As a government and as Nigerian security, our approach would have been twofold: the hard approach and the soft approach. The soft approach is supposed to be engagement with people, key stakeholders who could douse the tension. The hard approach is to send security men outright to go and confront whoever was doing that. We rely more on the soft approach. You know why? These are Nigerian citizens. You cannot use Nigerian money to buy guns and bullets to point it at Nigerian citizens. That will not be the intention of anybody. So we tried as much as possible to. Secondly, I want you to know that the core concern of security men in Adamawa at the moment is to contain Boko Haram. So their attention is, because there are 4 local governments in Adamawa State that are bordering Sambisa. Okay. Whenever there is an attack on Sambisa, or because of the cutoff of fringe commanders to their headquarters, which has been decimated and taken over by the military, fringe commanders no longer get supplies from their headquarters. Okay. They need food, they need some other supply, they need even money to buy whatever they want to buy. So they run into villages in Adamawa State, attack the villages, steal food, steal small animals, instill fear, and run back. So our security forces, the Army, the police, the Air Force, and the SSS, are busy trying to contain that kind of a thing.
So this is like a distraction.
From the
seriously
Boko Haram.
So, but be that as it may, we're able to get to the root of it. We're a government. We cannot run away from our responsibility. Our responsibility is to secure the lives and property of people living under our jurisdiction. We're going to continue to do that. At present, our appeal, which is just an appeal, but it's a very strong appeal, which even the governor has made. Our appeal is that people on both sides of the divide should heed the call of Vice President Yemi Osibanjo. Killings will not bring any development, will not bring any progress. It will only retard us. But
some would say just appealing to these people might be naive. Have any arrests been made at all? Because we keep hearing the unknown gunmen, they're still at large.
No.
Any arrests at all?
No. For now,
yes,
I cannot say, because we are not the arresting authority. It's the police. But the police had sent a special investigation squad from Abuja. They have been in Adamawa. We're taking care of them. I mean, we are assisting them, supporting them in whatever possible way we can. And they are surely doing their job.
Well, but Honorable Commissioner, in as much as a squad comes from Abuja to carry out any kind of investigation under your jurisdiction, the government, the state government, certainly, there's no way Abuja will come do an investigation without the collaboration of the state government.
We are. But I want you to understand one thing. The governor does not command the army, he does not command the Air Force, he does not command the police, he does not command the SSS. At best, we cooperate. But we are happy that, at least luckily for us, the commanders, the core commanders of these forces, are working in tandem with us. They are working in collaboration with us.
Okay. Now,
so because of that, I assure you that, you know, like the governor said yesterday, we are sacrosanct on that. Whoever is found to have been part of this, we brought to book. We've done it in the past, we will do it again.
all right, make us understand. For those who are not in Adamawa State, for those who are outside of, like, for instance, here in Lagos, the only thing people have access to is to read on the papers and then listen to radio or TV and all of that. You are there on ground. Is this crisis actually between herdsmen and farmers, or there's something more to this?
On the surface, what we're seeing, but you know, the investigating panel, the administrative panels may come up with more information than we have. What we are seeing now on the surface is a clash between people who are predominantly farmers and people who are predominantly cattle rearers. Okay. To say, you know, one of the things I did immediately this thing broke out was to invite media practitioners and media executives and say, look, let us avoid ethnic profiling, let us avoid religious profiling, because it will expand the theater of the conflict. When you profile combatants in the mold of their ethnic configuration or their religious configuration, what you're doing is you are expanding the theater, you are inciting. So what we are doing is that our own policy in Adamawa State, and this is authoritative, that whoever takes up arms and takes another person's life, we regard him as a criminal, first and foremost, and we address him as a criminal.
Irrespective of whatever religion or whatever ethnic.
Okay. A criminal is a criminal. Yeah. If you give him a toga of a religious, you are only glorifying what is an inglorious thing.
But if those are the real underlying factors, would it not amount to being in denial, not to attack it for what it is? If it has religious
it may not.
Or
it may not
ethnic
be.
coloration, so you are able to actually solve the problem.
We're in Adamawa. We have on record about the last gazette that we had 87 ethnic groups in Adamawa. And we have Christians and Muslims in virtually every family, not every community. So if you profile people along ethnic and religious distinction, you are expanding the theater of conflict to cover the entire state. And we don't want it to be like that. What we want it to be is that criminals on the side of people who are predominantly cattle rearers and criminals on the side of the people who are predominantly farmers have gone on rampage and killed people. And it's this criminality we are against.
Okay, so what is the way forward? What is Adamawa government looking at in terms of solving the problem? Some states have come up with the grazing bill. Some are saying let's provide ranches for the cattle rearers.
And in fact, he has become contentious in neighboring Taraba State.
And let me tell you, you see, we are even, this may be an expression of what the grazing bills are doing. Adamawa is just a route. These cattle rearers come, some of them come as far as from Central Africa and Cameroon. They pass through Adamawa with their cattle, bringing it down south to sell. Now, if they are blocked in Taraba, they are blocked in Benue. It then becomes that it then means that you are beginning to create a dam in Adamawa. Now, again, we're looking at it even beyond this. You see, the conflict area in Adamawa is from Gire, where it happens, right up to Lamorde, is the bank of the river Benue and river Gongola. Okay. So there are large water bodies, there are fresh water bodies. That is a very good resource for fishing. It's a very good resource for dry season farming. It's a very good resource for so many other things. Now, this we understand. Now, the cattle, when they come, they need water. If every water resource you have done dry season farming or you have farmed the bank because it's very fertile and it's green the whole year round, where will the cattle pass to go in and drink the water? We're looking at that as a possible factor. That as a government, we are officially looking at that as a possible factor to see whether we could create room for cattle to go and drink water without destroying anybody's crop. That could be a factor. Then we're now beginning to have a large concentration of cattle rearers in our state. We're also looking at what possible solutions are we going to adopt that will utilize this large number of animals in our state as a resource. Then thirdly, we're looking at even the use of the land resource itself. You know, every rich man now can go to any traditional ruler in our place and pay a huge sum of money and buy a large chunk of land and just fence it.
Fence it round.
He may not use it, he may not do that. So the poor ordinary people have very little access to land that they will farm. And that little access to land that they will farm could be the only way, again, the poor herdsman will pass with his cattle to go. Because the larger part
of that is going to change the navigational channels.
The navigational channels. And so in the process, there could be clash. So we, as a government, are looking at the whole gamut of it. So we're designing policies that look at the immediate term, which is containing the situation, and mitigating the harsh effect it has on the people that are affected, people who lost lives, people who lost property, people who are now homeless. What do we do immediately?
Is climate change affecting Adamawa State, which we've been told is a major factor in this herdsman crisis?
Yeah, to a large extent, yes. You know, large bodies of water are drying up in places that are in the bush before. Now, if you go, these large bodies of water are drying up. And this, so I'm telling you what we're doing. Now, if we do the immediately we're able to contain the situation. The two sides, we bring them to a round table. They agree on a peace pact, whatever, no matter how fragile it is at the moment, you know, then we now take measures to ameliorate the suffering of the people that have been affected, people who have been rendered homeless, people whose property has been destroyed, people who are desperately looking for food to eat now. When we do that, we now sit down. The next phase, which is the immediate term, is to see if we could, you know, this movement of cattle wantonly within farmlands and the rest, how do we address it?
In all of this mix.
So then finally,
yes,
in our own state, we want to look at both our land resource and our animal resource as resources that are capable of being utilized to propel us to the next level.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Commissioner for Information, Adamawa State, Ahmad Sajoh, thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And we can only wish you the very best as you solve the problem of the herdsmen farmers crisis.
We will, by the grace of God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll keep in touch with developments there. We hope peace has finally returned there.
At least with the governor's broadcast yesterday, things will take very, very reasonable shape.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much.